about a clean ocean, a horizon that we all share around this virtual roundtable.
Some people are aware that the plastic or single-use items are definitely harmful for the environment, as we all know, but they might not understand the urgency of the whole issue.
So that means that 1,000 people are collecting data, collecting images, collecting anecdotal evidence of the impact of plastics in our own rivers. That we can use that for our scientific purposes. We also see a sort of snowballing effect on social media, in mainstream media, that really exploits all of these anecdotes and scientific evidence of the impact of plastics. We were able to measure and demonstrate that the amount of plastic that we measured in the Meuse in the Netherlands was the largest or the second largest amount of plastic ever measured by our team in the world. And showing that now this river Meuse ranks similar in terms of order of magnitude as rivers in the Philippines or Indonesia or Vietnam, showing that and communicating that very clearly, we see that contributes so much to the awareness of the fact that also here rivers are not clean and action should be taken in the end.
People don't link their actions to the problem. It's like, okay, yeah, so in the moment, yeah, I'm aware that plastic pollution is a thing and all of the things that I'm buying could lead to plastic pollution, but at the moment when it's like Halloween or Christmas and I'm doing shopping, I don't make that link. People fail to see that there's a connection, and that's why they consume more because, well, to them it's not a problem.
Plastic problem is global, and it actually started probably in our countries, and so I think we have probably a responsibility to find the solutions, be they technological, be there also in terms of legislative, and find alternatives also.
So some people actually really care about the environmental impact. So if you talk about work that says that plastic is causing harm to seabirds or turtles or whales or dolphins, that may really resonate with someone. With somebody else, they may not care, and that may not be of interest. And so I really try to make sure that I target my message in a factual, accurate way, and also in a way that perhaps will resonate with people. Solutions and understanding for what's going to be socially, culturally, economically, and environmentally relevant where they are.
The level of understanding is quite different for countries like Comoros Islands and Africa as a whole, because this kind of question is not a question that people ask. You said in the beginning that the community, you have to contextualize the community, the way they live, how to feed the family. This is actually the main issues of people.
So all of the community, they have to come together and then implement those actions, because we have put in place a number of measures. But if you don't connect all of these communities, it just won't work in practice.
The more information that we have and that we're able to share that is accurate and not sensationalized, perhaps we can help to ensure as research scientists, as advocates, etc., that we're using appropriate, accurate information to help inform those policies, those decision making that's maybe happening at the grassroots level, maybe happening at the international versus the local scales.
Plastic is so common is because it's so cheap, and the current alternatives are a little bit more expensive.
If we find a new value for the plastic in the environment, and I think that we solve largely part of the problem.
If we put a price on plastics, you can call it a tax, a levy, a fee, call it what you want. When we treat plastic as a commodity rather than as waste, it will cease to be lost into the environment. We see this happen over and over again. We know that incentives work, and we know that actually a very small amount of financial reward or incentive can be incredibly effective, no matter what your country is.
The price of recycled PET has reached nearly twice the price of the virgin one. And brand owners, they pay for that value. They pay because they do understand that consumer no longer accepts plastics unless it's recycled And there's quite a big move in there.
Plastic is interesting because it's light and resistant, and plastic is a problem because it's light and resistant. So where we find some way to solve the questions, then the equation, I think that will be helpful, I would say.
It's really good to be mindful of unintended consequences. We do not have the waste infrastructure to recover materials from bioplastics and many of these other materials. So while there is sometimes interest from industry and other areas and a willingness, we should be very mindful of unintended consequences that may come from requesting a new material or a new polymer or something, because we don't have the infrastructure, and those products or new materials can pollute the waste stream.
I think it's important to use, among things, life cycle analysis when we talk about alternatives to the various solutions, because sometimes there's a genuine feeling that one solution is better than another in terms of environmental impact, and it's not.
So that's why also at the EU level, maybe we are going, step by step. Maybe sometimes, people would say we are going very slowly, but we cannot just introduce bans on all different plastic products that exist if we don't have, easily accessible, also for a good price alternatives that people can use.
Only after that, only after the citizen is fully aware and they fully adapt it, then we can try to kind of lower down the production. So it's not fully banning the usage of plastic bags, but it's lowering the production of plastic bags and also all those single-use items slowly in the future.
What is important is the science-based evidence to be able to influence policy making. And so to be able to influence policy making, we need to understand the issue at hand. So how do we do the research to understand where the plastic is coming from?
Now, where is all the missing plastic? It's not missing. It's actually in our backshore vegetation along our coastline.
Models is very, very important and is actually crucial, and it's something that we use on a regular basis. We use models, but we also use in situ observation. So we try and follow plastic by tagging the plastic and following where it goes.
If you try to work that into a different kinds of modeling approach, where we're not trying to predict the source and fate of each individual item, but start thinking in terms of risk and likelihoods of the presence and accumulation of plastics in, for example, a river system or a coastal area, that can be, I think, extremely informative for planning our data collection and our monitoring, but also to steer action and to think of efficient mitigation and cleanup efforts.
It's impossible with just one team or some teams only or some citizen on to solve the problem. And it must be large scale, not only for science, even citizen, but also for solution. And that's the only problem.
So I think finding this right balance between very strong local projects to guide citizen science initiatives that make sure that the methods are harmonized, that the data are transferable, that we can compare data collected in Indonesia with the Netherlands, etc.
One of the main problems we are facing is the lack of input material. The capacity in Europe for recycling PET. I'm back also to some consideration of regulation, because in countries like China, India, or Thailand, you cannot use recycled PET back into a PET bottle because there is no regulation there. Packaging industry I belong to has done a lot of work and will continue to do a lot of work reducing packaging weight. We divided probably by 3 the weight of packaging over the last 30 years and incorporate more and more recycled PET together with our customers.
And I think it's great with taking steps in the right direction.